Welcome to the Idea Fair and Course Tour here at Tourism Currents. We're very excited to have some wonderful ideas to share with you and give you a chance to look inside of our course and see the items that we have to help you do your job better. We're going to start by jumping right in. I want to welcome everyone that is attending. Presenting along with me today is Tourism Currents co-founder Sheila Scarborough.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning or wherever you are. Good to have you here. Thanks so much for coming.
We're going to start with some ideas of things that, these are things that I didn't see in the field, but they're things I saw in the field that inspired me with ideas of things that could be done differently. So the first idea is going to be about making more use of the email newsletter that you probably already do. I've noticed that most convention and visitors bureaus do an email blast, or they do an email newsletter that shares all over, and by and large these are really great quality newsletters. You get wonderful information, you get the latest on all the events and what's going on. Usually they're full of beautiful photos, and the thing is that only goes by email to the people who subscribe, and it's like the best kept secret of anything that you do. And there's a whole bunch of people that you would love to reach that they just don't ever see it. They didn't even know they can sign up for it. So my idea is that you can take that newsletter that you're already doing and spread it around into multiple places, and we're going to do it the easiest way possible. Now, you don't want to, the standard mistake people that make, I think, is that they use Facebook and they just send all Facebook updates straight to their Twitter, and so they end up being cut off and have a Facebook link on them, and they don't really make a lot of sense. We're going to talk about ways to share your email newsletter in a way where it is optimized for each platform, but with the least amount of effort. I think we're all in favor of least amount of effort. So the easiest way that I know to do that is to use a service that will make the postings for you and is actually relatively smart about how it does that, and that happens to be the Posterous service. This service actually is, it's free to use. There's no requirement of anything, any payment. So what you do is you basically make a new site here and you set it up to automatically cross-post your posts. It has a wonderful auto-post feature that will send the whatever you've put in your email, it will post it to a blog. So if you already have a blog site, it will automatically take your email newsletters and make them a post on that blog or on a separate blog if you want to keep it separate. It'll take the post and the photos and send those to Facebook as well. It'll put the headline on Twitter, and then it can also do things like send the photos to Flickr, or if you include a video inside of your email, it can post that for you. So I'm going to give you a very quick tour of how that works. Here on the Posterous site, I'm going to log in. And I do know that as we do these things, there are a certain amount of lag between the time that I click on it and the time that you actually get to see it. So I'm going to try to remember not to rush past anything. This is just a blank Posterous blog that I have not put anything into yet, but at the top there is an option that says auto post, and that's the trick right there, is the auto post. When I click on that, I get a list of services that it's compatible with, as well as a very large green button that says add a service. So you can see the list of items they support includes Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, Picasa, YouTube, Vimeo, Tumblr, Blogger, WordPress, Xanga, a bunch more. When I click on add a service, it will open a little window for me and show me that whole list of the different things that it's compatible with. If you already happen to have a WordPress blog for your CVB, it can automatically take whatever you email it and put it right onto your WordPress blog. The same thing of connecting with Facebook or your Facebook page or with your Twitter. So I'll click on Twitter just right quick to show you that all it does is gives you a link button here, and you have the opportunity to do some advanced options. But once you have those things set up, then all you do is publish your email newsletter as normal. And that email will automatically come to Posterous, and then it will automatically spread it out for you to other locations. You get a whole bunch. I think the biggest thing that got to me was when I first saw the email newsletter that the very small town of Shattuck, Oklahoma was doing. It's an awesome newsletter. It's full of wonderful information, and nobody knows about it, and they aren't getting they have no blog, they have no regularly updated web presence, but they're putting a ton of work into their email newsletter. It would be so easy to just make their Posterous blog one of the subscribers to their newsletter, so that when they email it out, it automatically goes to Posterous, is posted there and can be cross-posted if they want to. But it would give them all the benefit for search engines, that they would have all the events they're talking about, all these photos that he took and carefully put into his newsletter, all of the information about what's going on in town. That's the kind of stuff that your potential visitors want to see, but that if you're only sending it by email, no one else is seeing it. It's limited in who can see it. This gives you an opportunity to get it out there and to be much more findable for people online.
Remember, too, that even people who are interested in your email newsletter, I don't know about y'all, but emails come into my inbox in a big old stack, and I don't even, there's a lot of them that are not business oriented or whatever, that regretfully sometimes I just have to delete them because I don't have time to read them. So even people who've signed up for your email newsletter in many ways are not enjoying your content. Why not take that content that you've worked so hard to create and put it out there where not only more humans can access it, but of course you've heard that search engines need content to crawl, and you're thinking, how the heck am I going to find time to create a bunch of content for Google to play with? Well, there you go. Make it once, distribute it, and then you have the benefit of not only being able to send interesting information to your email list, but also to get it out to other people that will stumble across it when they are busy searching for information about your town or your attraction.
Okay, that was idea number 1. We're going to go to idea number 2. Some of you have probably seen this done. What you do is you take old historic photos from your town or your destination, and you go out to the location where those pictures were made. And you hold the picture up, and then you can shoot a picture of it and make it look like that is just in line with the actual current picture from today. And this, I think perhaps this first one is maybe the best example of that. It'll take a second to load, just because TwitPic always takes a second to load. But it's really great. We all have a stack of historic photos of our location, and the idea of being able to, and of course my image busted. Let me hit refresh. Let me show you this really great idea that doesn't work. Okay.
Right.
There.
There you go.
Think
Isn't
how
that the
cool
coolest
this
thing?
is. I just love this. You have a stack of historic photos. And so if you will just take those out, go to the actual place where this picture was taken. I love the horse and buggy in this picture. Now, the guy that runs Backroads News told me that one thing that you'll notice is that when you're doing it, when you're trying to line it up, when you're using both eyes to look at it, you're getting too much 3D information. So you have to close one eye to get it lined up. You may have to back up or move forward across the street to get it where it's going to line up perfectly with the buildings like what you see in this picture. So it takes a while to find the right spot where the person stood to take that picture however long ago. But once you find that spot, you get it lined up, and you can take a really cool photo like this. It's like a little window into the past. Hey, I have to give a shout out to my mom. I see my mom has joined the webinar. Hi, Mom. Okay.
Yay for moms. We love moms.
Now, these don't have to be ancient pictures. These don't have to be way old historic pictures. Here's a picture that was taken not all that long ago when the sculpture that was placed on the Kansas State Capitol building was taken on a tour around the different courthouses in the state of Kansas. I had no idea they did this, but that's kind of a neat thing. So for your tourists to stop and to look through their camera and to see that would be really cool. So how do you get that picture into the hands of visitors is the question. So if you were to scan these photos, if you did nothing more than just take pictures like this and post it on your blog, that would be pretty cool. That would be really cool. Your visitors would love that. Now, if you really feel like you want to make your visitors get involved and you'd like to see a bunch of visitors wandering around your town looking for the exact spot to stand and hold up their phone and line up their phone in the right place showing that photo. So can you imagine it? They're looking at the photo on the screen of their phone, and they're stepping forward and back until they figure out exactly the right place to hold it, where suddenly it springs to life.
Hopefully not stepping out into traffic, of course.
Now, of course, I write for small towns, so I always think it's a small town, they'll go around you. Now,
Yeah.
maybe not everybody has that. Now, if you can do that, if you can scan the photo and post it online, you want to resize that photo so that it's then under about 100K in size, and then post it online. You can put it on Flickr. You can put it anywhere.
Facebook.
You can put it on Facebook. Now, Sheila's going to tell you a little thing about maps, about how to do maps. And in fact, it would be really great to put these on a map so people would be in the right location so when they look at it.
Stick this in your head. So when we go on maps, remember this is one of the things you could stick on the map mashup we're going to get to.
Yeah, so at that place you could post a QR code right on the street if you had to, that would take them directly to the photo. So then that pulls up the photo on their phone. They're standing in the right place, and then now they're looking around trying to line it up and make it look cool on their screen. I think this is just one of the coolest, most interesting projects that would be so much fun to work on. It would probably be something you could get a student group to work with you to help you do that. Anything you could do to get those photos out of the historical museum and into the hands of younger visitors, I think would be really terrific in terms of building engagement and getting people involved in your location. So that's idea number 2, is go out and do some of these deer photograph style photos. Now, Sheila.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready?
I am.
There will be a momentary blip while we switch over and let Sheila be the presenter. And you will get to, we get to go back into the waiting room here while Sheila pulls up the screen on her presentation.
And while we're thinking about that, and I'm doing a quick switch here, keep in mind that that the thing that Becky was just talking about is allowing you to take a paper photo, right, and scan it and turn it into a digital piece of content, okay? Then you take a QR code and basically you're taking a paper photo and you're stuffing it in via a QR code to people's mobile devices. Whoa, talk about expanding your use of content. You're taking an old photo that sits buried somewhere and doesn't get admired. Now all of a sudden you are putting it out into the world in a creative way that also tells a history lesson. I mean, as a history nerd myself, wow, I just love that idea. I think it's the greatest thing. And if you don't want to do a QR code, on the sidewalk or on the street or something, you can certainly do, just like in Disney World or Disneyland, those, Kodak photo spots. Figure out a way to put up a placard that's weatherproof and put the QR code someplace safe that is a good photo spot. And there, it's available to your visitors 24 hours a day whenever they come to your town to do cool stuff with. So keeping that in mind, we're looking at now idea number 3, which is a map mashup, a Google map mashup, and this is from the Colorado River Trail, which is a tourism and economic development leg of the Lower Colorado River Authority here in Texas. And the person who made this was our friend Sarah Page, who works at LCRA. And she got this idea after talking with Ann Horniak, who works with SparkLock. So like with anything, none of this stuff is new. It's just that maybe the basketball or the football hasn't gotten to you yet. You just pass these things down the line because there are things that you may discover or that somebody else may discover that you are not aware of. So whenever you come across a good idea, you pass that thing. You say, what do I know and who else would find this cool? And so Sarah and Ann put heads together, and Sarah came up with this map mashup. Now, you look on the map, you can see my cursor moving around. This is basically southeast of Austin here in Texas. And what Sarah did was that you can see the blue line here, she laid out an area that she wanted to highlight some photos and some videos on a map. And I will zoom here really quick, and then I'll let it rebuild so that you can see it. If you look over here on the left-hand side, and I'll scroll this down just a bit, you can see that there is a legend. Starting at the top, there are 2 push pins. Those are videos. And then photos. Hey, another way to make it once, use it again. These are photos that she has embedded, Sarah has embedded in her map here. And then the green item is a blog post. So if I go over here, for example, to one of the photos and I touch it, boop, it pops up a car, as you can see, at the Central Texas Museum of Automotive History, which of course I was saying I didn't even know we had a Central Texas Museum of Automotive History. I think I ought to go check that out. So that pops up there, and it shows you, of course, via the map and the push pin where that is located. The green dot here, if I click that, it pops up to a blog post on the Colorado River Trail blog that talks about what's available here, introducing gas-saving getaways, and then the location of those getaways is delineated or laid out in the blog post. So you can embed a link to a blog post there, and then if I go over here to one of these little push pins, that is a video. And what she has done, and for some reason this is loading weird, I'm not sure why, but this is Chet Garner, the day tripper, who has a show with public radio and with, public TV here in Texas, and he has made a video which the last time I checked this, the whole box filled up, so I don't know why it's not cooperating with me, but it plays right here. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but it loads.
Yeah, that's a really small slice of it we can see today. We think the GoToWebinar software is interfering with the video loading, so when you load it yourself, you should be able to see the whole video. We sure hope so.
I promise you, when I tested this a few days ago, it worked just fine. So poop on whatever's messing it up. But it plays right there in the box. Nobody has to go anywhere, and you can hear a little bit of the audio from Chet's video, and it's only about, let's see, I think it's only maybe a couple minutes long. So here is a way to take map information, and you've, like anything with a Google map, of course, you can manipulate it and move it around like that. She has said, all right, I want to, within this area, and she draws her blue line, I want to highlight some cool things. And so she has taken content, either her content, her blog post, for example, and other things, and she has said, I want to show people the kind of neat things that are here. For example, we got over here some mountain biking, and wow, your mountain bikers are some avid travelers, and they could say, well, I had no idea that that kind of thing was there. So this is a Google Map mashup idea, which is another way that you can use and reuse content that you have already created and pin it literally and figuratively to a map so that you can show people, hey, you want to see everything that's in this particular area? Here's a Google map for you. And in order to make one of these, I'm going to shift tabs here. There is a map user guide that is right there on Google. So you're talking maps.google.com, and we have provided the link directly to this. And this is how you get started. There is a step-by-step explanation of what these maps are. There is an explanatory video, just about 3.5 minutes, that you can watch and get an idea of how to set this up. And then these are step-by-step directions of what the different tools are, what the different things mean, and how you go about inserting your pieces of content into your map. And if you're wondering, gosh, how exactly do I get started here, the third tab that I have just clicked is maps.google.com, and it lands right here. One moment.
We have a question from the audience that I think you'll want to cover as you go along here. Alan Gibson has asked, how do you make these public? And then how do you link to them? And I know that you can show us how you make them public when you click on making your own here, because I remember that's where the make it public option is. But I think then you can also go back to the Colorado River Trail and show them how to do a link to an existing map. There's that top right-hand side icon that has a link to it.
Right here.
There we go. That's how you link to one of those little babies. It'll give you, and it'll take a second for this to load.
You click it.
Yeah, go ahead and click that and see if it'll load for us, just the little link window. It'll give you a long URL there. You see you have an option to pick up a short URL as well, and you can send that link to anybody.
There you go.
That's a much shorter link. See, that's lovely. You send that to anybody. But the question about how do you make them public, I think that you can show that when you show how to create a new map, which I know you had intended to show.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. That's an excellent question from the audience, and I really appreciate that. Exactly. As you can see, looking across the top toolbar there, that's a big old honkin' clunky URL up there to this particular map. So if you're trying to put it out, for example, definitely on mobile devices, holy smokes, nobody's going to be able to do all that, but you've got a nice short g.co Google shortened URL if you look on the upper right side of my screen here, and you see just below that, below the short URL that goes directly to this Colorado River Trail map, you see there is HTML here, there is coding information that allows you to take, if you will, a snapshot of this map and thunk embed it anywhere that you want. So you can write up a blog post that says, hey, what's there to do in this area of Bastrop County? And Sarah may have already done this. Take this whole map, and rather than send people away from the blog to go over here to Google Maps, you just embed that sucker right there in your blog post using the HTML that Google has provided to you. So thanks very much for that question. And once again, getting that link, it gives you the long one, or you can request the short one, and that's way up here where I'm moving my cursor around the upper right-hand side where there's a little chain there. That is your link for sending people directly to your map. And so the question was making one of these things. We are over here in creating and editing a map, and there is a step-by-step way of doing this. And let me move my cursor up out of the way here. You scroll down, and I believe one of your options is to make it public or not. You can also delete it if you want to. And let me make this even simpler. And here's the thing, we'll send you the link that sends you directly here, but I don't know, if the world blows up and you can't find things, Google it. Say, how do I make a Google map mashup? And it'll send you, the #1 search result sends you to this page. But we will send you the link that gets you here. These are the step-by-step instructions, and you can pick private or not, and you start right here. This is the third tab over that I've opened, maps.google.com, right? Over here on the upper left side where my cursor is, you see it says My Places, and you click that, and it says Create a New Map. You click the big red button, and suddenly, bloop, you are creating a map. You can title it here, you can describe it here, and then right down here in answer to Alan's question, public or unlisted with regard to who you are sharing the map with. And I'm not going to go all the way through it, but you just start up here at My Places, create a new map, and then you begin your build, you title it, you describe it, you decide whether you want it to be public facing or not, and then up here you'll see import, for example, and that's when I've just clicked it. This gives you an option to import data into your map, and this is when you can start picking photos and things like that and moving them into your map. So idea number 3 is making a map mashup that's easy for you to show people physically where things are. It makes additional content for you. It allows you to reuse not only your content but highlight other people's cool content and geographically position it so that people can enjoy it. And as I said, boy, once you kind of get your head around this, let's see, I've taken that old courthouse photo that Becky was talking about. I've scanned it. I've taken another photo of the photo with what it looks like today. I got the QR code set up for the mobile thing, and now I take this and I go over here to Maps and I pop it on a map, and then people can look at it that way as well. So you are using, reusing, and reusing your content in a way that is not only fun for you, but it's fun for your visitors. Let's face it, I love looking at this thing. I'm going back over here really quick before I wrap this particular idea. I love looking at this and getting an idea of where I can go in Bastrop County, and I also like the idea, even though the software would not cooperate with me, I also like the idea of Chet Garner's Day Tripper stuff and other cool videos being able to be popped in here as well so that people can enjoy them if they have not heard of Chet, who does really, really fine work.
And it's not just a question of fun. It's not just a question of fun. It's a question of reaching your visitors where they are. Everybody has different places that they go and participate online. All your visitors are not on Twitter. Not all your visitors are on Facebook even. Not all your visitors use Google Maps, but the more places you make your content available, the more likely you are to reach your visitors where they are.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so this is maps, and now we'll go to idea number 4, which is pretty straightforward, but I just want to remind people the different places you can use one piece of content. Now what I've got here, and we will play it, is a quick video, 36 seconds. I'm on YouTube right now. I'm on the Fargo-Moorhead Convention and Visitors Bureau, Fargo, North Dakota, Moorhead, Minnesota, Share a CVB. I am on their YouTube channel. Brian Matson from the Fargo-Moorhead CVB is one of our speakers at Blog World and New Media Expo. We're doing a tourism track there in November. There's information about that on our website. But Brian is just doing a dynamite job at Fargo-Moorhead with short, quick, fun videos that highlight different things around his town. So what he has done is first he shot the video and he's loaded it up on his YouTube channel. He's titled it, okay, Go-Karts in Fargo-Moorhead at Thunder Road. The name of the facility is Thunder Road. If you title and you tag and you describe what each of these pieces of content are, videos and photos, you are also helping search engine optimization. So if somebody is looking for Fargo-Moorhead go-kart information, this video is going to be one of the things that pops up. But I'll play it really quick and you'll see how short and punchy it is, including a inside the go-kart shot. I will trust Becky to tell me if it's not playing properly, but I think with 30 seconds here we can do it. And then we'll discuss where else you can share this one piece of video content. So I've already played it once and we'll play it a second time. I think this is Brian that looks like him.
The video's a little choppy on this end. I'm sure it's not choppy like that on your end, but
no, it's pretty.
But
smooth.
it's very short, and like you said, it's short. It's punchy. He just went out and rode a go-kart with a camera, and look, you can put that on your page, and people are interested.
That's it.
Okay, so we
had of a gazillion videos.
Oh yeah.
That they've uploaded on their YouTube site. It's crazy. So what else does he do with it? I'm opening another tab, or I'm moving over to the tab here. This is the same video. Y'all recognize this, right? We're on Facebook now. So he's taken the video and he's embedded it using the YouTube URL right here on Facebook. And I'm not going to play it again, but as you know from watching videos on Facebook, boom, you click that little blue button right there and it plays, that same video plays right there on Facebook. And he says, we rode the go-karts at Thunder Road, Fargo. And as you can see, he has tagged them on Facebook so that people can find out where that is. And he says, what did you do? And then somebody says, let's see, we stayed at, described the hotel they stayed at in Fargo. They didn't like the Chinese place on 45th. And it says, had breakfast at Perkins on our way out in the AM to Rawlag, Minnesota. And what's funny is that I happen to know that that is where the Western Minnesota Steam Threshers reunion
Oh God, it's an excuse to mention the steam threshers. Here she goes. Mention the steam threshers.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it, but those people, the reason, this was on Monday, right? This was this past Monday, so it was Labor Day. These people who visited Fargo were on their way to the Western Minnesota Steam Threshers reunion that happens every year in Rawlag, Minnesota, which I just thought was great. But as you can see, Fargo-Moorhead reused the video that they had posted on YouTube. They also reused it on Facebook, and they made sure that they tagged the attraction that they were describing in the video. Now, I will also tell you that Fargo-Moorhead has a blog on their website, and their website was acting kind of weird earlier today, so I'm not going to zoom over to it, but they do have a blog. It's relatively new, but they're getting it started. There you go. You've got this video, you embed the video, and you make a blog post and a couple of lines that describes, hey, fun video, Thunder Road, go-karts, had a good time, click and watch, and you've just made another piece of content, a blog post, using this one video. Now, because this video is under 90 seconds, a lot of people don't know that you can put video on Flickr. If it's under 90 seconds, you can load short video clips onto a Flickr account. This one's 36 seconds. Voila. You can now take the video, title it, tag it, describe it, more search engine optimization, and you put that sucker up on Flickr, and now all of a sudden you have, oh, and here's a fifth one. Let's see, YouTube, Facebook, blog post, Flickr. Fifth idea is TwitVid. You can upload it to Twitter, either website or if you use a dashboard like TweetDeck or Hootsuite or Seismic, upload it that way. But you can also say, hey, cool video of the go-karts in Fargo, and boom, you've just taken that one video, and Twitter's the fifth one. You have put that in 5 different places.
Pretty awesome. Okay. Are you all wrapped up?
Yep.
Okay,
Yay!
we have a question from the floor. Jessica O'Reilly asks, would people see a map like this if they were searching for a location, or would they have to get to it from our website? And the answer is they can find a custom map that you make at Google itself. So if you're on Google Maps, you can search for and find a map specifically by searching whatever keywords you have used to describe it. So it's going to depend on how well you have done at describing it and putting it into a location. But in addition, they can also find it, of course, from your website. They can find it from any place else that you link to it, whether that's in your email newsletter or if you link to it on Twitter or Facebook where your people are hanging out. Any place that you post that link, people can go back and find your map that way. And it's also perfectly acceptable to take that short link and put it on printed materials, such as the paper brochure for that area. And then if you will take that short link and put it on that paper brochure, then someone can type that in on their phone in a reasonable manner, and they can pull up this map directly from their phone. Pretty cool opportunity there to reach people in the way that they like to receive this information. Okay. Now, that wraps up the idea fair. Yes? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So,
all right. We're going to switch back.
Videos. Yep. Go.
All right. I am taking control away from you.
Take control away from me.
All right. Now, at this point, we're going to go through a quick tour of some of the things that we offer that will help you to learn more about these tools that we just talked about. We teach this kind of stuff every day, and we want you to have access to what it is that we teach. So the page that you see here is our Tourism Current store. We're pretty proud of our little store. We like what's in there.
Yay!
Yay! It's really pretty because
she makes me dust the shelves every day. It's so annoying.
Oh my gosh, I own a business with stores, with shelves and stuff like that. So I'm just going to scroll right down through the whole list of all the things that we have available in our store, all the way to the bottom. And down here at the bottom, you see a link to our tourism track at Blog World Expo. If you're interested in some in-person training with us and with some really smart people like Brian Mattson from Fargo-Moorhead is one of our speakers, that is available to you. It's November 3rd through 5th in Los Angeles, of all places. Not exactly a small-town girl's favorite location to go to, but we can live with it. And then we have this item that we call the 2 pages of terrific. We just love the 2 pages of terrific. It is an example of when you have one single burning issue, we're creating a series of answers for those. So I'll just show you a couple of those that we have available right now. This one is finding time. If there's anyone who doesn't have trouble finding time, I'll be impressed. Everybody has trouble finding time. That's just the way it is. Okay, so set your goals first. I just noticed that Jen Stoddard had raised her hand there, but I didn't see a question come up, so I was trying to figure out if you have a particular question there, Jen. In finding time, I talk about set your goals first, your checklists, the summary tools. I talk about why automating doesn't work. There's a section here on the email newsletter trick that we just showed you. And then at the very end, we wrap it up and have a summary. So it's just 2 pages, just like the title says. It's really just 2 pages. And it just gives you the information, the answer to the question that you need right now. The other one we have is specifically for hotels and hospitality businesses, and that is about responding to online reviews. Realistically, we know that everybody pays attention to online reviews. Just saw some research this week that 60% of people had changed their mind about an online purchase just based on information they saw online. However, the number one way to change that is to actually respond to people, and that's a great way to also get people to believe that you actually are worth working with is based on how you respond to any negative reviews that exist out there. So once again, it's just 2 short pages. Point out the most important thing. If you need to know the secret about responding to online reviews, this is the secret. It is not a debate, and it is not a chance to tell your side of the story. There is no place for you to tell your side of the story in responding to online reviews. Too bad. It just doesn't work that way. Then we have some more information about specific sites. I think this may be one of the most valuable things on this particular item is that we talk about specific sites where people review hotels and hospitality businesses and exactly how to respond on those particular sites. And we managed to pack all of that into 2 pages. 2 pages only.
Yay! Which is why it's terrific.
It's terrific. It's terrific. So if you have an idea of one particular problem that you would like to see addressed, if you will let us know what that question is, then we'll see if we can't pack 2 pages worth of information together and stick it together in such a way that it's useful, action-packed, full of information, and addresses a specific problem that you have right now. And then we'll post that online, make it available for everyone. So those are the 2 pages of Terrific. We also have a lot of webinars. We've been recording webinars. I'm going to go through to the webinars page to let you see our list of webinars. In the on-demand, we have 3 webinars that have been recorded and are available to you. One on finding your online champions, one on the tourism SEO. We did that with Andy Hayes, who is always awesome.
Yay,
if you have
awesome.
ever met Andy, then you know this is true. Booking more meetings with your social media toolbox, which we did in cooperation with DMAI's Empowerment. Really a great little topic right there. How do you book more meetings? Is there a way to go on social media and actually arrange for more meetings to happen in your town? Pretty cool topic. So those are the recorded webinars, and the way they work is once you pay for them, you purchase them like anything else, and once you pay for them, then you just get directed to the page where it has the recording and the links to all the information that you need. This happens to be the one with Andy Hayes right here. Okay, those are webinars, and then that brings us back around to our lessons and our full course. We offer our course in 2 ways. There's a huge amount of information in our full course. It runs 6 weeks, 6 lessons. It's a lot of information, And, Janice Ross has just given us a spontaneous testimonial. The meetings webinar was awesome. Thank you, Janice. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
And it is. It was really good.
I'm not slipping her a 20. I'm really not. There's.
But I do have a cup of M&Ms right here, Janice, and you're welcome to help yourself. Now, so our full course, huge. I mean, oh my gosh, the amount of information. Sheila's going to show you through the course. Janice says, send them M&Ms over here. She's ready for them. And so for some people, they will not need the entire course, and that's why we make individual lessons available as well. So you don't have to do everything. So if you're really just looking about special events, then Lesson 5 is what you need, and so we make that available to you. Sheila, if you are ready, I'm going to return you the presentation, and you can walk them through the back end of the course.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Now we're going to shift over, and I simply had to, while Becky was talking, I went and Googled Colorado River Trail, Bastrop County, and yes, Sarah's map is the top thing that came up there. So in answer to Jessica's question, I know Becky had already said yes, and Becky gets so annoyed when I do this. I'm like, I got to see that for myself. So I went and I Googled it. Yes, in fact. That information is crawled, and so of course when you're titling your map, make sure if you have appropriate keywords that you want to play for in search engine that you put those in the title of your map so that people can find it and find your cool stuff. All right, back to reality. This is the front page of our website, the Tourism Current site. If you are a paid person taking one of the lessons or taking the full 6-week course, what happens is you go over here to courses, and there is a drop down that leads you to all the different lessons. If you're trying to remember where you want to go, you can just click the courses button, and it takes you to a page where we have laid out links for all of the courses, and so that way you can work your way from the top to the bottom. We start out with an introduction workshop. It's a great overview. It's also great for your boss, perhaps, if he or she is feeling a little bit overwhelmed with what all this stuff is. In fact, part 1 is, what is this social media stuff and who cares? So we try to get right to the meat of what it's all about and why it can help you with destination marketing. And then we move through the lessons. There are 6 of them, and they each cover different topics. I'm not going to click through all of them. I just wanted you to see how they are laid out. So lesson 1, the most important thing, the reason is your mom and dad said, why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth is you're supposed to listen more than you're supposed to talk, and they're absolutely right. I know that's, parents. How come they're always right eventually? But lesson 1, how to listen, and as you can see, each of these lessons is multiple parts. So lesson 1, for example, is 5 parts. We go over listening tools, we talk about how to respond, we talk about listening in certain areas like Twitter and Facebook that are a little bit unique, and then as a part of the lesson we have some videos. The lesson 1 is with Ann Peedy, who's with the Seattle CVB, who does a great job of talking about how she listens, particularly to Twitter. She's very, very good with Twitter, and she goes through and demonstrates her TweetDeck layout on her screen and how she listens for mentions of Seattle and how she hears people talking about her on Twitter. And then at the end of every lesson is a PDF checklist. And I will tell you that Becky personally has developed these checklists because she is very, very good about taking information and sucking it down into something quick and chunky and easy to absorb. And she knew if she left checklist with me that the doggone thing would be almost as long as the lesson. And she said, step aside, I'm going to do the checklist, or it'll be 14 pages long, you won't get to the point. So I pouted and I let her do it. This is lesson 2. We talk about home bases, which would be websites, blogs, and probably a Facebook page as well. And then we build out again in the next lesson. Okay, you started with a website and blog. Now we build you out to outposts. Let me step you through really quick just one of the lessons so you can see how it is structured. So this is the introduction post to lesson 3. And as you can see across the top, you can always go back with the breadcrumb list here if you get lost and restart if you're trying to reposition yourself. But every lesson starts this way. It has an introduction, and it has a general discussion of what is in the lesson, and then it goes down to the bottom and it steps you through each of the lessons. So for example, in this particular one, lesson 3, these are the various parts of outposts that we discuss in this particular lesson. I'll take you into part 2 of lesson 3, which is a Twitter starter pack. If you've ever racked your brain for, I don't have anything to say, we sat down and figured out, all right, here's what you can say every day for week 1, Monday through Friday, and a little bit on the weekends. And here is everything that you can say in week 2, Monday through Friday, and a little bit on the weekends. And then we give you some ideas for other places where you can go to figure out what to talk about on Twitter if that is a concern for you. And then just like in the introduction lesson, at the bottom you can step your way through all the other sections of the lesson, go back to the introduction. This particular lesson has a video that is an audio interview. Can y'all still hear me? I have giant pink warning boxes.
Well, I can still hear you, so you're fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good, thank you. I was like, no one's talking to me. Okay, got it. Thank you. I'm in the video for lesson 3, and this is an interview we did with the Lynchburg, Virginia Convention and Visitors Bureau. There's screenshots and a screen tour here of some things that they are doing on outposts, and then the audio was recorded with Becky. That was an interview that she did. And again, at the bottom of the videos, you can go back into any section of the lesson that you want to, ahead, behind, back to the introduction, or if you want to start back with courses, you can go back up to the top with regard to the courses as a whole. You can go back to the course page and start at the very beginning. And then at the, as I mentioned, the end of every lesson is a checklist, and it's a simple PDF. So I will just open up the one for lesson 1. Boom. As you can see, if you're saying, oh, my brain has just exploded, what am I supposed to remember from all this kind of stuff? Becky has taken it and squished it down to go here, do this, go here, do that, with links back to things should you need them, and links to specific tools that we may have mentioned. For this one, it's with regard to keywords. So that is what the back end of our lessons and course look like, and you can buy the lessons individually or you can buy the whole 6-week deal. And the way that you can get some advice from us is there are, just like, as you can see, the way we have constructed them, they are because it's built on WordPress. For example, here in part 3 of the introduction, okay? You're saying, well, I have a question here. I have something specific. I'm going to scroll. That's a video that we've embedded there. Some different things about Flickr. This is the this is the introduction overview. Down here at the bottom it says, speak your mind. This is a comment box. This is a comment box just like you see on any blog post, and we are monitoring these. And if you have any questions or any concerns, this is the way we can keep track of folks that want to get our personal attention if they have something additional and besides what is in the lessons. So don't feel that you're just getting thrown into a lesson and told, here, read this, good luck. If you have questions, if you have problems and concerns or feedback, absolutely, we want you to speak your mind right down here in the comment box, and you will have our personal attention. And so that is my overview of our 6-part course. And let me know if you have any questions in the chat here, or if not, I'll turn it back over to Becky.
Okay, we have a great question in the chat box, and I am quickly researching an answer if I can here, and I will switch presenters back over to me,
okay,
which will take a second to pop back over here. Okay, now you should be seeing my screen again. I hope so, if that worked. Yep. So here's Jan's question. Jan has a really good question. Do bit.ly links ever expire? She said that she, first of all, she says, listening to your course outline, excited to take the program. I have had trouble with shortened links created on bit.ly disappearing over time. Does this problem not exist on Google? And I do not know the answer to that. I have not heard of anyone having trouble with bit.ly links expiring. Now, and I'm kind of scrolling through here some search results, and bit.ly is claiming their links do not expire.
Here's something to think about while Becky's scrolling here. And a lot of people didn't really, frankly, think about this until very recently, but the reason that the URL is bit.ly is because the extension ly is Libya. And so, in fact, there have been a lot of people who've suddenly realized that the host for that URL is Libya, and technically, even though bit.ly doesn't really talk about this a whole lot, technically, if everything just sort of went off the end of a cliff in Libya, there is a remote possibility that some things could disappear that have bit.ly links if some servers and things got shut down in Libya. Now, I know that seems rather obscure, but this is one of those weird net things that you don't ever think about until something bizarre happens. Well, in fact, there's a revolution going on in Libya right now, and nothing has been affected thus far, but it is something to think about.
Well, and Eileen has added that in her experience, I have had bit.ly links go away too, especially if signed out, which is just fascinating to me. I had not heard about people having problems with this, so this is an item that we're going to go and do some research on. Now you've got us all curious, and Sheila can't live with anything unresolved. She'll be off and investigating this immediately afterwards, so you can expect there to be follow-up information on this. I do know that I have had, in my experience in my history on the web, I have had a whole history of links shared at a URL shortener that disappeared. I used to use URLT, URLTEA, and it disappeared. They went out of business, and all of those links that were shortened that way, gone. So that can happen, and so you need to be aware of that. It is possible if you are super worried about this. One thing you can do is create your own link shortener. The code to create one of these on your own domain is available, and so you can get your tech people to work on this and then create your own personal link shortener. I know a few people that do this, and it does take some technical support to put the code on your server and make it work, but it can be done. And then it works as long as your server's around and as long as you don't ever lose your database. So there's risks with everything. But Sheila's going to get back to us with more information about what happens with bit.ly links, especially if signed out. A fascinating question. I wanted to remind you of the address where you will find more information on the stuff that we just told you about. That is this address right up here. It should be showing on your screen. That's the Idea Fair and Course Tour. I'm going to copy that and paste it back into our little chat box again, so everyone can get a look at that. Janice Ross said that she has to go for a meeting, but she really enjoyed the little tour, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, yeah, I'll give you an idea of if you're ready to make a purchase of any of our products, those are available in our store. We just love our store. It's just so cute. The full course, the individual lessons, the webinars and presentations, 2 pages of terrific. And even if you want to join us at Tourism Currents track at Blog World Expo, that's available in the store as well. So that's all available to you, and feel free to browse through all of the products that we have available. Thank you very much for your attention today. Watch for some follow-up from us with information about bit.ly links, as well as link to when we post the recording on the Idea Fair page. If you want to share this with other friends, this one is going to be publicly available and anyone can watch it. The ideas we share at the beginning are certainly something that you can share with anybody else that's working in tourism, and we are happy to have you do so. Thanks again for your attention today. We sure appreciate it. We're glad you came by and listened in and shared your thoughts in the question box. And we look forward to hearing from you again soon in response to anything that we're doing, stopping by one of our open comment nights, or just participating and hitting reply when you get your newsletter and saying hello. We sure appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Jan's given us a little more information on the bit.ly link question, and we will take that and process it and get back with you on that. Jessica says, thanks, ladies. She's going to be putting some of these ideas to use, and that's exactly what we like to hear. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks very much for taking time out to play along with us today. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Take care.